Jason Howard Heat.
When I was 17, I was sent away to live in the mountains of New Mexico at the San Cristobal Ranch Academy, basically a combination drug rehabilitation ranch and labor camp, or the KFC Taco Bell of the troubled teen industry. It wasn't a great place. In fact, if you Google San Cristobal Ranch Academy right now, you don't really have to scroll down very long until you find it listed on a website as an example of institutionalized child abuse. I bring this up to really make the case of what it means when I say that of everyone that lived on this ranch, the pigs had it worst of all. And that may be because everyone else and everything else that lived there had a purpose. The staff was there to get paid. Us ranch kids were there so that the staff could get paid. The horses were there for equine therapy. The dogs were there to be loved. The cow was there to be bred. No one knew what the pigs were for. And there were 7 of them, one very, very big pig, and then a pretty hefty-sized mom and her 5 piglets. And they were there before I got there, and no one knew why. But the problem was actually that nobody wanted them, and that meant no one cared for them. And I don't mean no one took care of them. It was part of our daily chores to make sure that they stayed alive. I meant that no one cared about them. And that meant that these poor creatures lived in horrible living conditions. The big pig at least had its own room, but the mama and the baby were kept in a pen, all 6 of them, that was far, far too small. They were never allowed to roam, and worst of all, they were never separated. And I don't know if you know about pigs, but they're supposed to be weaned at 6 to 8 weeks old, and instead, this poor mama was kept with her no longer babies for months. And what I've since had confirmed and watched in real time is that when a pig is kept in too small a space, it can experience horrifying mental distress. And while I am by no means a doctor, I feel confident in saying that these pigs went completely and clinically insane. It was awful. You would walk by and hear these terrible sounds. We would find them with bruises and lesions. They would attack each other, they would injure each other, they would engage in self-mutilation, and worst of all, and I'm aware that that's quite a statement to make right now, this was a co-ed group, and it does turn out that at a certain age, a pig will try to impregnate its own mother, especially if she is locked in and has nowhere else to go. So it's not a surprise when the pig said, "Fuck this noise," and banded together to make a plan, escape, and revenge. And one day when no one was looking, the pigs, well, they got out. And instead of running for freedom, which they very well could have, they decided to stay and stalk people. So imagine, you're walking alone late at night down a dimly lit path, just trying to get to your laundry, when out of the bushes emerge a roving band of pigs. They lock eyes on you, and in single file, with Mama leading the charge, they start chasing you around the property. You move, and they follow. You speed up or change direction, and they match. And you realize, as they are gaining on you, with this terrifying look in their eyes, that they're hunting you. True story. I managed to get inside before they got me, but it was terrifying. And I wasn't the only one this happened to. The pigs had conspired to get their captors one by one until something changed. It was dangerous, and someone was going to get hurt. So unsurprising, this situation was unsustainable. You may think that the solution would have been to rehome the pigs to a farm or a sanctuary to give them a better life, or to build a bigger living space for them so that way we could all as a group take responsibility for these animals who were in our charge. Now, we killed them and had a barbecue. Oh yeah, the big pig who didn't escape and was completely innocent in all of this was slaughtered on site and then cooked underneath the ground by the sun. Collateral damage for the actions of its peers. And Mama and the babies were sent off to a local butcher, cut into cuts that would live for months in our freezers. And I think that this is the perfect metaphor for the troubled teen industry as a whole. The story of these pigs. Creatures who were unwanted, who people didn't know how to love, illy treated until they were in so much pain and so broken that they lashed out. And those responsible decided that the only way to solve the problem was to get rid of us.
Jason Howard Heat.